Hi, Ryder here, professional at Truefit Golf Centre and today's Golf Elite teaching coach. In a little over a few days' time, the Ryder Cup is going to be starting at Gleneagles with 12 of the best players from Europe and 12 of the best players from the USA fighting it out head to head at Gleneagles. And what I want to do is demystify and help you understand a little bit more about their swings and why are these guys such good ball strikers. Even with the likes of Bubba Watson with these unusual actions, or maybe somebody like Lee Westwood at Impact where they aren't quite textbook, I want to talk to you about how they arrive into those good ball striking positions. So I'm going to break it down into three sections. First of all, what you've got to understand, if you look at all those players, not every one of them has got exactly the same looking golf swing. You'd be able to identify them if you're looking at them teeing off and recognise them by the shape of their swing, their speed and their tempo. But one thing they're all good at is they get back to the moment of truth correctly, impact. They know how to arrange this golf club, how to move this golf club in the correct fashion so it presents itself correctly to the golf ball, producing those powerful, accurate shots. So that collision between club and golf ball is very efficient for these players. So let's look a little bit more detail into that. First of all, many amateurs believe that if they get the basics right, they get a good grip and good stance and so on, they are automatically going to arrive into a good impact position. I'm afraid that's not entirely true, because impact and address are not the same things. Impact is much more dynamic. You know, with those guys with a medium iron, it's 90 odd miles an hour, over 100, 120 miles an hour with the driver. So there's a lot more forces at work during the swing. So when we look at address, with an iron club, the shaft may be straight, the weight's 50-50, they've got the correct ball position, etc. But when we study them at impact, it's a lot more ballistic, a lot more dynamic. They've used their body to lever their arms and drag the club, and they're dragging it into a position where they can put maximum force down on the ball. Obviously the club's got to be travelling on the correct path, the club face orientation has to be right, the angle of approach coming down has to be correct for an iron, and the speed and centred hit. These are all important things which we're going to talk about. So, how are you going to improve your impact? Well, the first thing is you need to know what it feels like statically. It's okay feeling it here at address, but you also need to know what it would feel like statically and in slow motion. So just against the chair leg or the edge of the range mat or a tee box at your golf club, take your stance, and then what I'd like you to do is just tilt your hip up and twist it round slightly. So you're just tilting your hips up like so, then moving forward 4 or 5 inches and turning and tilting up slightly. As this happens, you'll notice the shaft is leaning forward. Notice how my lead arm is nice and straight, but the angles I created in my trailing arm, my right arm in my case, these angles I've created here in the backswing, I've carried, transported, dragged, whatever you like to call it, pulling them down into impact, and I've still conserved these angles here as I come into the golf ball. What that's doing is stopping me getting rid of all my club head speed early, casting as you hear it, or throwing. So I'm not over accelerating the club too soon. I've got my timing right, I'm waiting so these angles are carried, and that culminates in arriving at this position here, or this moment in time, where this is bent, my right wrist, my right elbow is still bent, my shoulders are a little bit more tilted, my hips are tilted, and my weight now is probably more like 80% in my front foot. That's allowing me to put force down on the ball and take a divot after impact, not before. The only time both the arms and the swing get straight is after impact here, post impact. So you will see, if I do some small little shots, you'll notice both my arms extend here, post impact. So the first thing you need to do is get the feel for this position, rehearse this. Secondly, how can you get the feel of dragging the club? Well, if you just place the club behind you here and pull it along, so get the feeling of dragging it with your hips. See how I'm still keeping these angles, dragging them along. This is getting my body to lever my arms. Now that doesn't mean you overuse your body, you still have to deliver the club head. So you're only dragging it so far before the forces start to allow that club to get into impact here. Now, from a point of view of your practice, it's imperative you do some small, slow impacts first. Most people struggle with their impact and they get frustrated because they're seeing this chicken wing happening because they're just getting fast with their arms and slow with their body. You need to feel the connection between your upper arms and your body, and everything is working together. So you're getting everything moving at similar rates. Your timing is correct. So the best way to learn that, I can assure you, is by hitting some smooth, small practice swings with a medium or short iron, just like so. Literally only hit them 70, 80, 100 yards maximum. You can hear I'm compressing that ball. See my pivot, my hips are rotating. I'm dragging my angles down through that golf ball. Once you've then got a feel of that, then you can start to expand it. But you're still trying to keep the club, your hands, your body, all moving in harmony, in sync. Once you do this, you'll find you're starting to arrive at that correct impact position, just like those tour players. So give that a little trial on the range. In the next couple of videos we're going to talk about achieving the correct path and understanding the control of the club face. Enjoy your practice.